Hello students, so finally we have reached the last part of our chapter. Today we will revisit irrational numbers. Recall, you had studied about irrational numbers in the last class, that is in class 9. There you had learned about the irrational numbers, means the definitions, examples and some properties of irrational numbers. There we had learned the numbers which cannot be expressed in the form of P by Q is called irrational numbers. And also we have learned all the non-terminating, non-repeating decimal numbers. Non-terminating, non-repeating decimal numbers. Decimal numbers are called irrational numbers, such as you can take any example 0.01, 0.001 and so on. And so on is written. This means this decimal number does not end, and there is also no pattern repeated here. You can see there were 0 1 1 0 was there, then 001, then 0001, means there is no repeating pattern here. So this type of decimal numbers are called irrational numbers. Also we have learned some properties such as the square root of any prime number is an irrational number. Also we have learned the irrational number when operated with a non-zero rational number, the result we get is an irrational number. Also we have learned when two irrational numbers are added or subtracted, the result is an irrational number. So in this class we will dive deeper into the concepts of irrational numbers and verify these properties. So let's start. So before starting the verification of those properties, let's start the class with a simple question about the irrational numbers. The question is, which of the following numbers is irrational? 0.86, 0.3, bar on 5 and 0.01, 011, 0111 ... and option D, none of these. So the first one is a terminating decimal number, and we know every terminating decimal number can be expressed in the form of P by Q. So the first one is a rational number, so the first one is not our answer. The second one, you can see there is a bar on the digits after the decimal point, so this is a non-terminating but repeating decimal. So this can also be expressed in the form of P by Q. So this is also a rational number, so this is not our answer. Then the option C, you can see there is 0 1 0 11 0 111, means nothing, no repeating pattern is there, nothing is repeated, so this is a non-repeating decimal, and also there is ... at the end, means and so on, which means this is non-terminating. So this is a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal number, so that is an irrational number that can be turned into P by Q form. So our answer is option C, that is 0.01, 011, 011 and so on, which is an irrational number. Okay, hope you would have refreshed your memory about the definitions and identification of irrational numbers. Now let's verify those properties that I just mentioned earlier. The first property is the square root of any prime number is an irrational number. Means we have learnt root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7, root 11, all these are irrational numbers. And here we will prove that statement. Means we will prove how root 3 is irrational, how root 5 is irrational, we will prove all these things. And if you can recall, I had told to prove these irrationalities we need to use a method called method of contradiction, and this method is new to you. So at first let's understand what this contradiction method is. Next we will learn the other requisite concept that's needed to prove these properties. So first, what is contradiction method? To understand this, let's take an example. Suppose there is a candle. Okay, let me draw the candle. It looks like a candle. Yes, there is a candle burning, and your younger brother, who is only 4 years old, is trying to touch this flame. Okay, so you warned him that don't touch the candle, it will burn your hand, but he is not ready to accept this. So your statement is touching candle is not safe. Here candle means, I mean the flame, okay, not the candle. Yes, it's safe to touch the candle. So your brother but is not ready to accept that, but touching this flame is not safe. He thinks that you are lying him and touching the candle will not hurt him. So his assumption is touching candle is safe. Okay, so you warned him many times but he is not ready to accept this. So how will you prove that touching candle is not safe? Here what you will need to do, you have to let him proceed as per the implication of his assumption, and after that if he touches the candle and get himself hurted, then he will himself realize that touching candle is not safe. Yes, so if you will allow him, if you will let him do whatever he wants after his assumption, what will he do? He will go for touching the flame, and after he touches the flame, it will burn his hand and he will get hurt, and what will happen? He will get hurt. But he was thinking that if he touches the candle, he will never get hurt. He was thinking that, in his mind it was that he will not get hurt, but what happens? He get hurt. So here the contradiction arises. Contradiction means opposition arises, or anything impossible thing arises, that or anything that oppose his thinking or oppose the reality what he wanted. He was wishing that if he touches the candle it will not hurt, but when he touches the flame he gets hurt. So these two things oppose each other, and he thinks that whatever he was assuming, whatever he had taken assumption at the first was wrong, and his elder brother or sister, that's you, is correct. Yes or no? So this thing simply explains the method of contradiction. Whenever someone is not ready to accept the truth or reality, we just allow them and we let them to proceed as per their assumption. And after some point, after some times, he or she reaches at a point and they realize themselves that yes, whatever we are assumed was wrong, and the original statement that was advised to them is correct. Understood? And this method is used in mathematics many times to prove the real facts about the mathematics basic rule. Okay, so what are the steps? At first we have to take the correct statement, then you have to take the assumption that the opposition of the correct statement is true, then you have to proceed as per the implication of this statement, and in the process at some point you will get a result which will oppose or obstruct, or you can say contradict to the reality or the basic laws of the nature. Okay, and then you will realize that all these contradictions have arisen due to our wrong assumption, and if our assumption is wrong, then the original statement that we had taken its opposite to be truth is correct. Okay, so let's see how this method can be used to prove square root of any prime number is irrational. Okay, so let's proceed with root 2. So the question is, prove that root 2 is irrational, and we are going to use the method of contradiction here. And along with contradiction method, we need to apply another concept about the prime numbers in this proof. So let's understand that first. And that says, if k square is divisible by any prime number p, then k is also divisible by p. Okay, this means if any composite number k is divisible by p, then k square is also divisible by p, or if k square is divisible by p, then k is also divisible by p. Okay, for example, you can see that 16 is divisible by 2. Okay, then square root of 16, that is 4, it is also divisible by, exactly divisible by 2. You can also see if 64 is divisible by 4, then square root of 64, that is 8, it is also divisible by 4. This same fact is written here. If k square means here 4 square, if 4 square is divisible by 2, then 4 is also divisible by 2. Similarly, if 8 square is divisible by 4, then 8 is also divisible by 4. There is also a proof. Also sometimes this question may come in your exam, so also let me do the proof that if k square is divisible by any prime number p, then k is also divisible by any prime number p. So how will you prove? I will just give you some hints and you can prove that. Say k is a number, composite number, and as we had learned in fundamental theorem of arithmetic, that any composite number can be written by multiplying its prime factors. So let's k1 be written as p1 multiplied by p2 and so on up to pn. Say there are n number of prime factors of k and we multiplied those to get k. Next, if we will find out its square, that is k square, then we have to multiply this twice pn, again multiplied p1 p2 up to pn. So here we got k is divisible by any of the prime number, that is p1 or p2 or p3 or any of prime number that is up to pn. Here we got k square is equal to p1 dot p2 dot means into p2 into p3 up to pn, again into p1 into p2 into p3 up to pn. Here also you can see there are no other prime numbers are there. There are those prime numbers p1 to pn multiplied 2 times. So here k square is also divisible by means exactly divisible by, okay, exactly divisible by only those prime numbers. There are no extra prime numbers there, so those are also divisible by p1 into p2 into p1 or p2 or p3 or up to pn. So here we got k is divisible by p1 p2 up to a pn. Here we got k square is divisible by p1 p2 up to pn. So if this thing is correct, this thing is also correct. So if k square is divisible by any prime number p from p1 to pn, then k is also divisible by those prime numbers, that is p1 to pn. So this statement is true then. So we will also use this concept while proving root 2 as irrational. So let's proceed with the proving irrationality of root 2. So the first step is what? Yes, assume the opposite of the statement as truth. So we will assume, we'll write, let's assume root 2 is a rational number. We assume that root 2 is a rational number. So if root 2 is a rational number, so root 2 can be written as p upon q, where p, q are integers and q not equal to 0. Also HCF of p, q is 1, means p by q is the standard form. There is no other common factors of p and q. We have written the simplest form of P by Q. So now we will proceed with the implications of this statement that root 2 is a rational number. Then we will see what are we getting. Is this opposing any basic rules or basic facts of mathematics? If it would be opposing or contradicting, then we will write that our assumption is wrong and this statement is true. So let's see what's the statement we are getting which can contradict the real fact. So here there is root 2, so let's cross multiply this, so we will get P is equal to root 2q. Let's then square both sides, as there is a root 2, we will square both sides. So this is just a frame of solving this type of questions. If you learn this frame or this process of solving or process of proving root 2 as irrational, then you can also prove for root 3, root 5, root 7, root 11 in the same way. Okay, so just attention. So just pay your attention to the steps that I am following to prove this as irrational. So next we will have to squaring both sides. We get what will we get? Square of P is P square and root 2q square, root 2 square is 2 and q square is q square. So here we got P square is equal to 2 into q square. So if P square can be written as 2 into something, we don't know the value of q, so q may be any integer and square of q may be any integer. So if we can write P square equal to 2 into any integer, that means P square is exactly divisible by what? Divisible by 2. If we can write any number as 2 into something, means that number is divisible by 2. So let's give some numbers to these lines. This first equation I named that as 1. Then this statement P square is exactly divisible by 2. After that we will use this concept that if k square is divisible by any prime number p, then k is also divisible by that prime number. Similarly, if p square is divisible by 2, then p is also exactly divisible by 2. Very simple. Let's name this as number 2. So here we got p is exactly divisible by 2. So if p is exactly divisible by 2, so p can be written as 2 into any integer. We don't know the value of p, so m can be any integer. So we wrote p equal to 2 into m. As here we got 2 is a factor of p, so we can write p equal to 2 into any integer m or some integer m. So if p equal to 2m, let's put this value here in this equation 1. So let's write substituting the value p equal to 2m in equation 1, we get, what is the equation 1? Equation 1 is p square equal to 2q square. So we will get, in place of p we will write 2m square equal to 2q square. So here 2m square is 2 square is 4, m square is 4m square we got on the left hand side, and here 2q square. Now let's find out the value of q square. So if you will find the value of q square, it will become 4m square divided by 2. 2 was multiplied here. If you will transfer to the opposite or other side, we will divide 2. Then we will get q square is equal to 2m square. Okay. So now we got q square is equal to 2 into some integer. If q square can be written as 2 into some integer, that means q square is exactly divisible by 2, or 2 is a factor of q square. And applying this concept, we can also see, or we can also write q is also exactly divisible by 2. Yes or no? If q square is divisible by 2, then q is also exactly divisible by 2. and we can name this as number 3, and see here at point number 2 it was we had got P is exactly divisible by 2, and here we got Q is exactly divisible by 2. From these 2 points we can conclude that, what can we conclude? From 2 and 3 we got, or we get 2 is a common factor of P and Q. Yes or no? 2 is a common factor of P and Q. But this becomes the contradiction. How? Here we had taken the standard form of P by Q. So HCF of PQ was 1, means there is no other factor, common factors of P and Q greater than 1. But here we got a number 2 which is greater than 1, and it is also a common factor of P and Q. These two things oppose each other or contradict each other. So we can write this line or this statement we got now contradicts to the fact that, which factor was that? HCF of PQ is 1. That HCF of PQ is 1. So why did this contradiction arise? This contradiction has arisen due to our what? Wrong assumption. We will write that this contradiction has arisen due to our wrong assumption. If our assumption was wrong that root 2 is a rational number, then what is true? Yes, the opposite of that statement, that is root 2 is irrational, is true. So we can write therefore root 2 is an irrational number. Proved. Okay, so let me repeat the steps again. At first you have to assume that root 2 is a rational number, then you will get root 2 equal to P by Q. Then you have to solve for P square, then you will get that P square equal to 2 into Q square or 2 into some integer, that means P square is divisible by 2. If P square is divisible by 2, then P is also exactly divisible by 2, means 2 is a factor of P. So P can be written as 2 cross M or 2 into M. Then if you will substitute this value P equal to 2M in this equation, that is P square equal to 2Q square, you will get Q square equal to 2M square. That means Q square is exactly divisible by 2. If Q square is exactly divisible by 2, then Q is also exactly divisible by 2. So from point number 2 and 3 we got that 2 is a common factor of P and Q. But this contradicts to the fact that HCF of PQ is 1, that was written in the line number 1 of the statement number 1, that root 2 is equal to P by Q, where PQ belongs to integer, Q not equal to 0, and HCF of PQ is 1. So these two things oppose each other or contradict each other. If this contradiction has arisen, why has it arisen? Due to our wrong assumption. So you have to write all these things, that this contradiction has arisen due to our wrong assumption, and if our assumption is wrong, what is correct? That root 2 is irrational is correct. Okay, so this is just a frame of solving this type of question. If in place of root 2 it would be written root 3, then you would just replace the value of 2 to 3. In place of 2 you have to write 3 only, and the answer is ready. And where it is 2 3 3 3, this becomes 3, and 2 square it was 4, so 3 square it will be 9. Then again 3, in place of 4 we will write 9, and in place of 2 we will write 3. So this becomes 3 3 3 3, and it is solved. If there is a new question that proves that root 3 is irrational, sorry I had left 1 3 here. Okay, if there is a new question that prove that root 3 is irrational, then just replace the value of 2 as 3 and here in place of 4 9, you will get the answer. So this is this process is valid for any square root of prime numbers to be proven irrational. Okay, so I hope you would have understood this. Now let's move to the second proof, that is, if a non-zero rational number is operated with an irrational number, the result is an irrational number. So this is the second question that proved that 4 plus 3 root 5 is irrational. We have studied if any non-zero rational number is operated with irrational number. Here 4 and 3 are rational numbers and they are operated with root 5, which is an irrational number, and the result we are getting, that is 4 plus 3 root 5 is irrational. We have to prove that. Also here we will use contradiction method. So let's solve it. This is comparatively very easy question and we can solve this very simpler than the previous one. Okay, let's see how to solve this. At first we have to assume, as per the first one, that this statement is wrong. So let us assume 4 plus 3 root 5 is rational. Okay, so if 4 plus 3 root 5 is rational, so what can we write? 4 plus 3 root 5 is equal to P upon Q, where PQ belongs to Z and obviously Q not equal to 0. There can never be 0 in the denominator, and you can write also HCF of PQ is 1, though it is not needed, we can write it, no problem. So 4 plus 3 root 5 is equal to P upon Q. So what we need to do here, at first we have to find out the value of this root over prime number, or here it is root 5, it can be root 2, it can be root 3, or it can be root 7 or root 11, or the irrational part of this expression. Okay, you have to find out the value of that one. So we will transpose this 4 and 3 to the right hand side. So let's transpose them one by one. At first let's transpose 4. So we will get P upon Q, and if 4 is added in the left hand side, it will be subtracted from the right hand side. So now we will get 3 root 5 is equal to, you can take the LCM as Q. So this becomes P minus 4Q. So now 3 will be transposed to the right hand side. 3 is multiplied here. So if you will transpose 3, P will be multiplied at the denominator or divided to the number. So this becomes P minus 4Q upon 3Q, which is the value of root 5. Next, we know that P and Q are integers. If P and Q are integers, then P minus 4Q is also an integer. Similarly, 3Q is also an integer. So we'll write that if PQ belongs to integer, then P minus 4Q, this is an integer, divided by 3Q, this is also an integer. Integer upon integer is a rational number. We know that a rational number can be written as integer divided by another integer. Okay, so here P minus 4Q is an integer, 3Q is an integer, so integer upon integer is a rational number. If this part P minus 4Q upon 3Q, this is a rational number, then the value of this is equal to root 5. So root 5 is also a rational number. So let's write that. Then root 5 is also a rational number. Is it correct? Is root 5 rational? No, we know that root 5 or root over any prime number is irrational. We just proved before this question that root over any prime number is irrational, but here we got root 5 is a rational number, which is a contradiction to the real fact that root 5 is irrational. So we will write that this, let me write here, this contradicts to the fact that root 5 is irrational. Why did this contradiction arise? Due to our wrong assumption. So we'll write this contradiction has arisen due to our wrong assumption. And if our assumption is wrong, this one is true. So we'll write therefore 4 plus 3 root 5 is irrational. Okay, was not it simple? It is very simple. You have to just, what's the concept here, what's the steps you need to follow always? Always you need to find out the root over the prime number. Then you will get a fraction where there will be only p and q integers should be involved, and then you have to write this same process, just replace the prime number, square root of the prime number in the question. So by following these steps you can just solve, or you can just prove how 4 plus 3 root 5 or 3 plus 2 root 7 or 1 by root 8 or 1 by root 3 or root 3 plus 5 root 3 minus 8, you can prove all those as irrational. So now let's move to the third property, that when two irrational numbers are added or subtracted, the result is an irrational number. The question would be like this: prove that root 2, it is an irrational number. Let's add another irrational number to it. Say root 5 is irrational. Okay, so here we need to prove root 2 plus root 5 both are irrational number, and we are adding those two. We can also subtract them. Then the result we will get will be irrational. That's what we need to prove. So how to prove that? So this is also very simple. At first we have to write the first step, that root 2 plus root 5 is rational. If root 2 plus root 5 is rational, so we can write root 2 plus root 5 is equal to p upon q, where p, q belongs to integer and q not equal to 0. Okay, then what will be the problem here, that if you will find out the value of root 2, then in the expression there will be root 5, but here while you are finding out the value of root 5, there was no irrational number involved in this expression. But here if you will find out the value of root 5, root 2 will be involved on the right hand side. If you will find out the value of root 2, then root 5 would be involved in the right hand side. So what you need to do here, you have to follow one more step, that you have to square both sides. You have to square both sides. Squaring both sides, you will get this becomes square of root 2 plus root 5, and this side square of p upon q. So this becomes a plus b whole square. So let's apply that identity. Root 2 square, that is 2, plus 2 into root 2 into root 5, plus root 5 square, that is 5, equal to p square upon q square. So this becomes 2 plus 5, 7, plus 2 root 10 is equal to p square upon q square. Okay, so now see these two lines that we had got in question number 2 and question number 3 resembles, yes or no? Those two are of same type. Here you had got 4 plus 3 root 5, there was only one irrational number involved. Here also you got 7 plus 2 root 10, where root 10 is only the irrational number involved here. So now you have to proceed as you had proceeded in question number 2 to solve this as irrational. If this will become to solve this root 2 plus root 5 as irrational, you will get some you will get the result that here you had got root 5 is rational, there you will get root 10 is rational, but this will be the contradiction because root 10 is irrational number. Then we will write this contradiction has arisen due to a wrong assumption, and if our assumption is wrong, then this one is correct, that is root 2 plus root 5 is irrational. So the question number 2, 3 are both are same, but in question number 3 you have to follow this first one step, that is squaring both sides. Then after that you will get some question which will be similar to the question number 2. Okay, so with all these 3 properties of irrational numbers are proven, and one of this type of question must come in your exam. Okay, so if root 2 is irrational, root 3 is irrational comes, that may carry 3 to 4 marks, and if this type of question 4 plus 3 root 5 or root 2 plus root 5 comes in your exam, then it will be of 1 mark or 2 mark questions. Okay. So with this our revisiting irrational number concept is completed, and also the chapter real number, which carries 6 marks weightage out of 80 marks in the board exam, is completed. I hope you understood all the concepts clearly and enjoyed the learning with me. Thank you.